Yes, West Ham Network, it's Holly. Happy Hump Day. You might have guessed what the title of this video means we're going to be chatting about. But before we jump into it, if you enjoy this video, please hit that thumbs up button to support the channel, drop us a comment, subscribe, you know the drill. So without further ado, let's get started with this afternoon's video. So, following on from the starting news yesterday, it's clear that we are in the process at West Ham of bringing in a different approach behind the scenes. Things are changing. We knew they were going to change. We heard about Steiton's role changing, diminishing, whatever you want to call it, disappearing into thin air. And now we're going to be chatting about what the future could look like in terms of the organisational structure behind how we manage, how we recruit, and what we're going to be doing moving forward. So, as part of this, we are going to be taking a look at Kyle McCauley and how he is likely to fit in to West Ham's plans in the future. So going all the way back to the beginning for Kyle McCauley, he was initially a midfielder at Derby County, as well as playing for Aberdeen. He played for Peterhead, he played for Alloa Athletic, he played for Elgin City, and he played for Huntly before going into the behind-the-scenes events that unfold in the world of football. So Kyle McCauley has been working with Graham Potter since 2012, where he was the chief performance analyst at Östersund, if I am pronouncing that correctly. They then worked together at Swansea and Brighton and Chelsea. And in that time, he worked his way from being a recruitment analyst to becoming the head of recruitment in 2018 while he was at Swansea. And then, since Potter came to West Ham, he wanted to bring Kyle, costing us £1.5 million in compensation to free him from his contract at Chelsea. And here we find ourselves with Kyle McCauley at West Ham. So McAuley is planned to be mainly based at Rush Green, but his job does include travelling and scouting, and he is no stranger to finding a talented player and making them profitable. We've spoken about it before, the Brighton model of football and the way that they recruit, and now it looks as though that might be something that we look to bring in at West Ham, which is something that I was never keen on bringing in good players and getting rid of them just for profit. But I do think it allows you to find untapped talent and make them really good, and then either get a profit or be able to utilize those players, which can only be a good thing. It's better than bringing in players that aren't going to hit the ground running where you are. So yeah, sounds like a very exciting thing. And the best bit is that we're looking at Potter and McAuley, who have worked together, who've been proven to work well together, and hopefully they could do exactly the same for us. So back in 2013, he spoke about how his new role means he doesn't really miss playing because he just absolutely loves the analysis side of stuff and the numbers game and working out which players and all the attributes that they have and who to bring in ultimately to a club. So at the time, he said he was a little bit involved with training, but that he spent most of his time on the recruitment side dealing with emails from agents and doing a lot of work watching the games of the teams that we're about to play. So it's also looking at the statistical side of who we're facing, how we need to approach games that he is familiar with. So it's not just bringing in players that he's previously concerned himself with, but the practice of identifying areas to exploit against upcoming teams. And basically, he's looking at the game as a bit more of a bigger picture than just trying to find talented players. And this awareness and analysis is something that I think we can definitely benefit from. And that's another reason that Potter's been so keen to bring him in, because he knows that they kind of work together in multiple ways, not just to bring in players, but to actually work well with the players that they've got and to work out how to approach individual games based on the players that they have. So some of his work has included signing Moises Caicedo for around £4 million, who went on to cost Chelsea £115 million. He also made a profit on signing Cucurella, who went to Chelsea, and Trossard, who obviously went to Arsenal. And when Potter was asked about their relationship, he said it's a good link between the coach and the club in terms of recruitment. So this explains that McAuley works alongside Potter and he supports him whenever he's gone to spend budget, and tries to help him do this in the best possible way. So he actually went on to speak about how McAuley goes ahead with the hours and hours of recruitment conversations, which leaves Potter to then work with the team that we already have. So you're not trying to be a master of everything. It kind of feels like you've got set roles and that within that you cover all the bases. And I'm a big fan of that. I think it sounds a more organised approach to being able to do that. Potter also said, I'm really happy with the appointment. It was something that was always going to happen. It was just a case of when. To have someone like Kyle to help in that regard is going to be great for me and for us. Well, for us and for me was how he worded it. So hopefully we are now looking at a setup at West Ham, which is tried and tested, and it favours Potter's approach to management. And this is the same approach that we know has previously worked to find talented players, improve them, and make them very valuable. So that is what we would love to do at West Ham. And there is also a very big question mark over whether we could see Dan Ashworth come in eventually, with him working at Brighton with Potter and also wanting to bring in McAuley when he was at Man United. So the three of them work as a bit of a trio. And Ashworth could be the final missing puzzle piece, overseeing more of the strategy side. But we're going to have to see what happens. However, now Tim is gone, that strategy side of things is something that we don't have somebody that's directly responsible for. So it's likely to, in the meantime, be Sullivan's responsibility in the absence of that director of football kind of role. But I am really excited to see, especially if we could bring Ashworth in as well, what the three of them could do and whether seeing what they've done at Brighton might even convince the board enough to let them have a bit more of a free rein and not meddle too much and just let them go and do what they've done before. So that would be my hope. We'll have to see what happens. And that is what we know about Kyle McCauley so far. So I'm excited. If Potter's excited, then I'm excited, because I always think for a head coach to do well, you need to give them the tools that they believe that they need. If you're going to bring somebody in and then not provide them with all the resources that they think that they need to do well, you're kind of setting them on the back foot from the beginning. And you sort of have to back whoever it is that you're bringing in, head coach, manager. You need to actually back them and believe in them and provide what they require to do what they say is their job, the best that they can do it. So this is really good. I think it is a good thing. And with Tim going, we needed another person to help Potter. And like he said, it means that he can deal with the management side of the game, preparing for the game, dealing with the players that he's currently got, looking at the entire squad that he has. And he's got other people that feed back to him about how we need to approach games, who we need to approach, and work with him to identify targets based on what he thinks we need as a squad. So I think it's a very good setup, and I'm very, very excited. And the rebuild is officially underway, and the January transfer window is now shut. We're going to be able to see what Potter can do with the players that we already have and where we can actually finish this season. Because although we haven't necessarily got the results like against Chelsea, I feel like the way in which we're improving and we're performing is giving me confidence. And I hope that it's just a matter of time before it really does feel like everything's clicked. And at West Ham, I cannot speak today, can I? West Ham is going to be onwards and upwards. And I can't wait for it. So here's to a strong second half of the season. We'd written the season off, but we're unwriting it off. We are carrying on, and I would love us to get a strong finish, top half of the table, so that we're in a good position to rebuild for next season. It will make us more appealing for players that we want to bring in summer. It will give us more money, which will mean we can reinvest that in players. It will mean that everyone's just feeling more positive, and hopefully it will also mean that we're finding our feet, we're finding our style of play, and all those players are on that pitch doing their thing, feeling creative, having the confidence to just do what they do best. And with that, we will hopefully need to strengthen a few key positions in the summer. We will have brought the best back out of players like Kudus that we know could be amazing, and then keep losing the ball somehow at the moment, and work out what's gone wrong with these players. Let's fix them. Let's get some more in the summer, and let's go for Champions League next season. You heard it here first. That's all for me for now. But until next time, tune in at 5 p.m. I'll be running through your Hammers headlines. Come on, you Irons. Irons.